answers.
9 years ago today.
What happened to these two young children?
Remains a mystery.
Urgent story unfolding right now. Who is missing? An unsolved murder.
Hello everyone. We're going to be diving into the many updates that have come up over the last few weeks in the cases that we've spoken about here, specifically in the Amber Nitchman, Nicholas Adamson, Justin McDonald, Alisa Petrov, and Lilly and Jack Sullivan cases. In some of these cases, the new details are quite minor, but in others, there are huge updates in these cases where either the person was found or their body was unfortunately found. As I said, I have covered all of these cases previously, so I definitely recommend going and watching those videos first before we talk about the updates, or else you're probably not going to understand what we're talking about here. I'll have them all linked down below. So let's dive into them. 34-year-old Amber Nitchman disappeared in May 2025 after her sailboat was found washed ashore near Nanaimo, British Columbia. She is still missing, but we do have some new information and details that kind of clear up some certain things in the case that people are wondering, and that's all thanks to her sister coming out and talking. According to Amber's sister Amy, the boat was her home and everything to her. She had also sailed several times from Mexico to Canada and had plans for a third sailing trip to Mexico in the fall. Amy saying, quote, "This was her dream. She wanted to live her life at sea," end quote. It's also noted that the day that Amber disappeared on May 15th, she was set to leave around 7 a.m. from Nanaimo to Texada Island. This was confirmed in a message that was sent from her phone to a friend. And she had specifically chose to leave that morning due to the calm winds, on average just blowing 7 kilometers an hour. This wasn't a day where there was a big storm happening. And it does seem like Amber had some experience driving her boat and, on the water. What happened to her next, however, is the big mystery here. Because data shows that just 2 hours later, around 9 a.m., her boat would slow, then began drifting near North Nanaimo until it grounded itself near Neck Point, where it would later be found. Nobody was on board, but there was evidence that there had been people there.
Amy Nitchman is going to see the closest thing she has to her missing sister in Nanaimo. Amber Nitchman's boat, the Gypsy Soul, that she's believed to have boarded 1 week ago before vanishing.
This boat was her home. I think it was everything to her. This has been incredibly difficult for our entire family.
The 34-year-old was an experienced sailor who'd sailed several times from Mexico to Canada.
This was her dream. She wanted to live a life at sea.
According to her sister, evidence shows her white 35-foot sailboat set out from Nanaimo for Texada Island on the morning of May 15th.
And I know that a message was sent from her phone telling her friend that she was leaving Nanaimo at about 7 a.m.
What followed, though, is a mystery, because data shows 2 hours later, her boat slowed, then began drifting near North Nanaimo, eventually grounding itself near Neck Point.
There was no one on board, and evidence that there had been people there.
So an intense search for the missing sailor continued for 2 days, but turned up no sign of her.
This was not something that, she would just disappear and not tell her family.
According to Nitchman, her sister chose that day specifically because of the calm winds, on average blowing just 7 kilometers an hour. So her family fears someone may have hurt her.
Of course, I've been terrified to think that anyone would want to harm my sister. I would much rather believe that this was a very, very tragic boating accident and that she was alone on that boat. But I can't know for certain, and that's why I'm asking for the community's help and for the police to do a very thorough investigation so that my family can be at peace.
I think this new information does clear up some things that people were wondering in Amber's disappearance, such as, did she have experience sailing boats? Would this have been something out of the ordinary for her? And it's also very interesting that she specifically chose that day due to the weather being calm. So what could have happened while she was on the boat then that she just vanished and then her boat washed ashore? There are still so many unanswered questions here, but I truly hope that her family will begin to get answers. 29-year-old Nicholas Adamson would disappear on March 17th of 2022 after being kicked out of the Moose and Goose Bar in Thorold, Ontario. And 3 years later, his family is finally getting answers. This is a case that has really hit home to me because I actually have family that has gone to this bar before. And then on top of that, we cover so many cases where young men go to bars or get kicked out of bars or get drunk and then just disappear and are separated from their friends. There are just one too many of these. But thankfully, 3 years later, his family is finally getting some answers. Because on December 5th of 2024, the Hamilton Police Services were called to a found human remains report near Hamilton Harbor. DNA from the remains were submitted to the RCMP National DNA Databank. 4 months later, on April 24th of 2025, the Niagara Regional Police Services received a DNA hit that the human remains found 4 months earlier belonged to Nicholas Adamson. But after everything, Nicholas's case was ruled as foul play not suspected, and his case was set to be closed. Yet his family believes that he didn't just accidentally fall in the water.
The police detective that's been working on the case for 3 years came to my house and informed me that they had found a bone. A worker in Dofasco had found a bone in the Hamilton Harbor. They called a coroner, and through the couple of months, the DNA came back that it was Nicholas's DNA.
In March of 2022, Nicholas Adamson disappeared without a trace after a night out in Thorold with his friends. High and low for any clue of where he may have gone, but found nothing.
I mean, every door in Thorold, every business, we looked behind it, we looked in every place. We even tried to do the time lapse of when the camera was at the Moose and Goose the last time we called it.
He was last spotted outside the Moose and Goose around 2 a.m., then never seen again. But late last month, investigators were able to match his DNA to a bone which turned up in Hamilton's Harbor back in December of 2024, confirming his death. And while it's a small piece of the truth, questions remain around how he wound up all the way in Hamilton.
We don't believe he went in the water, because when we were looking for, like from here now at the Moose and Goose, it's not easy to go in the water. It's not like to try to get in the canal, you gotta like climb over a 12-foot fence. Investigators do not suspect foul play in Nicholas Adamson's death. Something happened to him, and it wasn't like falling down a cliff or tripping in the water.
I do not believe my son would walk over to water and either fall in, dive in, anything. He wanted to come home that night. I don't think he was suicidal. He wanted to come home.
Nicholas Adamson's family says they will never stop asking how and why he ended up in Hamilton's Harbor.
Still thinking we would get a phone call, hey, we found him, he was unconscious, or he lost his memory, or here he is, or, just always had hope that there would be something that we would find him.
What I find interesting is that it took authorities almost 3 years to find his body, and from the sounds of it, it wasn't like they were searching the water and they were the ones that found him. And it also makes me wonder what could be left of him after being in water for 3 years. Could there have been foul play, but due to the state of his body, it just can't be determined? There's a lot of things that I wonder here, because his parents did point out some very interesting things. On top of that, if someone did push him into the water, say for example, the video footage, if there was any, is going to be overwritten after all these years. So this is definitely a case that isn't going to be an easy one to solve. But his family now at least has some kind of answers. It's not just open-ended of where is he. He is brought home now, he is laid to rest, and now his family has a direction to go to try to fight for answers. And please go show them the support and love that they need. 34-year-old Justin McDonald was last seen on July 7th of 2024 at approximately 11 p.m. at the Irving gas station on Commercial Street in North Sydney, Nova Scotia, where he was caught on store surveillance cameras. 3 days later, police would locate Justin's blue Kia Forte approximately 25 kilometers away in the Ormond Crescent area of Mirror Road. Despite Justin's body not being found yet, police would end up arresting 3 men: Mitchell George McPhee, Ryan Joseph Pike, and Aaron Curtis Mickey, all during a 3-week period in December. They would also be charged with several offenses related to Justin's disappearance and death. And the going theory in Justin's case was that there was foul play involved. And it would turn out that these 3 men who were accused of killing Justin were also accused of robbing a second victim at gunpoint the very same day that Justin disappeared, which is also thought to be the day that Justin was murdered. During this attack, the man was assaulted and robbed of his cell phone, all while being held at gunpoint with a shotgun that was being wielded by Mickey. McPhee, who was 39 years old, was arrested on December 12th and charged with manslaughter, robbery, and assault. Pike, who was 36, was arrested December 20th and charged with second-degree murder and robbery. And Mickey, who was 45, was arrested December 31st and charged with second-degree murder, robbery, and 4 firearm offenses. It wouldn't be until May of 2025 that Justin's remains would end up being discovered in a rural field south of Sydney, Nova Scotia, and they were discovered by his father, Ken.
On May 26th at 5 o'clock on Morley Road, out searching myself and Steve, we found our son.
It's been Ken McDonald's goal for almost a year now. His 34-year-old son, Justin, has been missing since July of last year. He's been searching every day since, and it was him who made the discovery.
I seen the shirt, and I seen the skull. And I searched around, and then again, emotions took over. And then, like I said, I called police right away.
Police are still investigating and searching the area of Morley Road where the remains were found. One of the items recovered was this bracelet, which is now on Peggy's wrist, a reminder of her son.
It was one of his ball tournaments, and then on the other side, it said, it says, everything's going to be all right.
Cape Breton Regional Police and the Medical Examiner's Office have not yet confirmed the identity of the remains. Police saying by email today they have no further update.
Without that verification, we know 100%.
He had this on his arm.
Yeah, we know.
Police declared McDonald's disappearance a homicide in November. 2 men have been charged with second-degree murder, robbery, and assault in the case. 1 other man was charged with manslaughter and robbery. Ken McDonald says the amount of community support has helped them through some tough times.
It's emotionally draining, and it's happy to a point that we'll now be able to have a funeral. Before that, we never had that. We never had that chance.
We'll bring him home.
We're bringing him home, yeah.
I can't even imagine how traumatic that would be, but also how relieving it would be to finally be able to lay Justin to rest. This all happened when Ken, along with another man, were searching Morley Road around 5 p.m. when Ken came across a familiar-looking shirt and sandal, ending in the long search for Justin. In the end, Justin's manner of death has been ruled as homicide. This is a case where justice is finally being served. Even though it is not a favorable outcome where Justin is coming home alive, what we can hope for now is that his family is able to lay him to rest and they can get the justice that he deserves. What we really don't know is why Justin was killed. What was the motive here? Was it a robbery gone bad? Did Justin try to fight back? Let me know if you have any more information on that, if it's out there that I just didn't find. What I also think we need to talk about is how callous and brazen these 3 individuals who have been arrested are. Not only did they murder Justin, but then they went, hid his body, and then went on to hold another man at gunpoint and rob him. They went right back to committing another crime after just murdering someone. These individuals are very scary, and that's why it does make me wonder if it could have been something similar. It also makes me wonder, did Justin know these individuals? Was it just a stranger attack? There's so many things that aren't left unanswered still, but I'm very curious once this all goes to trial, if it does go to trial, what will come out. But my heart does go out to Justin's family. I truly, truly hope Justin can finally get justice now, and you can all begin to heal. 15-year-old Alisa Petrov disappeared on April 21st of 2025 after her mother dropped her off for school in American Forks, Utah, seemingly running away. What authorities would discover on her devices was extremely shocking. We went over some of the messages that were exchanged. They are vile and disgusting. And this would end up leading to 2 men being charged with various charges relating to CSAM and other child offenses. But thankfully, this is a case that has come to a happy ending. First off, a 3rd man was actually arrested in connection to Alisa's disappearance, a 41-year-old man named Samuel Mitchell from Harriman, Utah. When police spoke to Sam, he said he knew why police were there. Sam allegedly told police that he had been speaking to a girl online who was upset with her parents and who had began cutting herself. The last message that Alisa sent to Sam Mitchell, reading, quote, "I'm running away, please don't contact me," end quote. According to Sam Mitchell, he couldn't remember the girl's name and said she told him she used various aliases and did not give him her real name. He denied any further communication with her. He said the girl told him she was 19, but appeared to be 18 in photos, or maybe even younger. Sam said the girl was excited about running away and asked if she could run away with him. He added that he thought it was a fantasy thing and said, "Oh yeah, it'd be kind of fun." Police say that Sam Mitchell denies ever meeting with the girl in person, thought to be Alisa, but said that they did plan on meeting, but he ended up getting sick and so he canceled. He also says he only spoke to her on Snapchat. When asked if any photos were exchanged that were explicit, he responded, "Not that I know of." Despite that, when police looked into Sam's phone, they found text messages with 2 other underage girls. Both of these victims ended up sending Sam sexually explicit photos and videos. And one of these girls was estimated to be 12 years old and the other 15. Sam was recently charged in the 3rd District Court with 5 counts of sexual exploitation of a minor, a second-degree felony, and enticement of a minor, a Class A misdemeanor. After weeks of Alisa being missing, on June 1st of 2025, just days ago as I'm recording this, she would walk into the Colorado Springs Police Department, over 500 miles from where she ran away from in American Forks, Utah. Officials stating that she appeared unharmed and physically well.
And breaking news this morning out of South Jordan. After 6 weeks, Alisa Petrov, the missing 15-year-old teenager, has been found safe.
Yeah, police say she turned herself into the Colorado Springs Police Department last night. Annika Johns is live in South Jordan, where this investigation has been spearheaded. And let's check in with the very latest from Annika right now. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Definitely a feeling of relief here in South Jordan after news of her return or her being found has surfaced. Now, officials have told KUTV that she's okay, she's in good health, and she is and she is safe. However, several questions still remain about her case. Now, she's been missing since April 21st, and Petrov hasn't been seen or heard from since then. And since she was last located on a security video leaving a train platform in Provo. Now, as how she got to Colorado, if she was held against her will, where exactly she has been over the last 6 weeks, and the exact circumstances surrounding her return have yet to be released. Now, since her disappearance, 3 adult men, one from Texas, Florida, and Utah, have been arrested after evidence of them communicating with the teen online surfaced. Now, many of the conversations between the men and the teen were sexual in nature. At one point, Petrov asked one of them to kidnap her. Now, if they have any connection to her time in Colorado or her journey to get there remains unknown at this time. Now, South Jordan PD says that right now they are working with Petrov's family to get her reunited with her parents and, of course, bring her back home here to Utah.
The circumstances surrounding Alisa's disappearance still remain largely unclear. Officials have not released any information as to where she was staying for the last 6 weeks or any of the specific reasons as to why she decided to turn herself in. And if the information that Sam told police is true that we spoke about, I'm sure this is even deeper than we even know. There was clearly probably issues going on at home that led her to make this decision. There clearly is a lot more here that we know. What I do hope is that Alisa is now safe and she's getting the help that she needs. And what I also truly hope is that over these last 6 weeks, she was not experiencing things that a 15-year-old should never experience. When it comes to 6-year-old Lilly and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan's disappearance from the rurals of Nova Scotia, the 2 kids are sadly still missing. What we do know is that at the beginning of June, authorities would return for another search near the Gerlach Road property, this time focusing on a nearby pipeline trail where a small boot print was previously found, which is very interesting because there's been a lot of questions surrounding where these boot prints were found, and this kind of confirms that it was on a trail. A crew of around 75 search and rescuers resumed the search in rainy conditions, alongside 3 drones and several drone operators. Heavy winds and an incoming geomagnetic storm kept drones on the ground the following day. And from what we know, nothing has really come from the search either. There are no new details on it. They haven't found the kids, and the RCMP hasn't made another release.
There's another physical search for the missing Sullivan siblings in Lansdowne Station over the weekend. 6-year-old Lilly and 4-year-old Jack have been missing for a month now.
Yeah, it's supposed to be there to actually run people up and down the pipelines.
Ground search and rescue volunteers once again backcombing the dense forest and expanding beyond the initial search zone. Search manager Amy Hansen says about 75 volunteers were in the woods on Saturday in an area where a boot print was located in an earlier search. Hansen says the conditions are challenging.
No, they were extending into newer areas that haven't been searched and finishing off and cleaning up some areas. The boot print was on the pipeline, which is why we're extending our search efforts down the pipeline. We don't know for sure it was from the children, but it's the only real thing we've had to go on thus far, so we're just kind of investigating that further. These people have been out weekend after weekend and day after day putting themselves through this. The families are understanding and letting them come out, and we're actually starting to see some people that just physically and emotionally can't return to the search at this point.
But in the meantime, Daniel has now taken to the media to talk about how upset he is over people attacking Malaya on social media, saying, quote, "Don't attack Malaya because her mental health is going to be reflected on her daughter, so I don't want anyone attacking Malaya anymore," end quote. There is so much drama surrounding this case. It is a lot. It is a lot, and it's drama that I am not even going to touch with a 10-foot pole unless it is actually confirmed. Let me tell you, I am quite up to date with it. I see it. I just don't think it's worth talking about because I have no clue if any of it is even real. And it is quite frustrating if people are faking messages or faking conversations. And if it is real, I don't know why these people aren't just coming out and saying it themselves, why they're doing it hiding behind, text messages and just audio. Just come out and say it with your chest so everyone knows it's actually you saying it and that's how you feel and that is the information that you are releasing. Because otherwise it just leads to more drama and more drama. And this case is just truly so fueled with drama. I'm not a fan of that. It really does take the focus off the kids. And again, if the parents are completely innocent in this, that also, as Daniel then is mentioning, it's putting so much stress on Malaya, who's trying to care for their baby. We truly don't know if Daniel and Malaya are involved here. But as you know, I do think that the circumstances are definitely very strange. We've had a lot of conversations about that. I see both sides, honestly. I see the fact that the kids could have wandered away, but then I also question a lot of the details. Again, Jack wandering into the woods when it's 1 degree Celsius outside in just a diaper. Thick woods that would scratch him all up pretty immediately. It's just very strange to me. But I think we all kind of need to cool it on the drama. Let's stick to the facts and let's stick to what we know. And for the people that are trying to come for me in the comment section about no new information, what kind of information are you looking for? Because it says to me that you're looking for drama. Because all that I have continued to talk about and put out there are what the RCMP is putting out for the most part and what the media is putting out. This is reality we're talking about. We're not talking about a Netflix special here. There's not always just going to be some big plot twist of drama. So if it is just minimal information of, hey, police are out there wanting video footage, that needs to be put out there. And you can't just go to people's comment section basically saying, oh, this is boring, this isn't new news. It is new news. If the police come out saying, hey, we need more video footage, that is new information, and we need to spread that information because that is hopefully going to solve this case. That's the stuff that needs to be getting out there, not all the drama. So when I see people make those comments, it just makes me think that they're fiending for drama. And if that's what you're looking for, please get off this channel because that is not what this is for. This is for spreading the word on unsolved cases, getting the information out there so hopefully these cases can eventually be solved and it gets to the right people who have the information that could solve these cases. But it just really annoys me when people do that because what are you looking for? It really makes me think that they have the wrong intentions here. What do you all think about these updates? Again, some are more minimal, some are huge. Like we have people being found. But I'll be in the comment section chatting with you all. Let's discuss these cases further. And if there are any other cases you want me to look into, comment them down below and I'll add them to my list. My list is getting very big, but I will continue to just add new names on there because, again, there are just so many cases out there that are unsolved that need to be spotlighted. As always, my heart goes out to these families. I truly, truly hope the ones that don't have answers begin to get answers and the ones that are starting to will get justice. And as I always say, I hope you all stay safe out there, lock your windows and doors, and I hope to see you in the next video.